Welcome back to No More Heroes. Travis strikes again. We're still going through the in-universe game within an in-universe sort of situation.
It's a
Ah,
good thing that we have these virtual toilets to take our virtual shits.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Like, what's that about? I don't like. Imagine you playing a game where just going to the bathroom is actually a thing. And I'm not even talking about like using it for saves and shit. It's like,
The
why would it
Sims.
be there? Sim? I see. I don't play Sims.
They have
So
to
if
do their business and everything. So,
oh, do you like get sick if you don't?
I think so. It's been a while since I played. The way they express themselves is a little like they don't do words. They sort of babble at you, and
They emote through arm gestures and interpretive dance.
not
Oh, it's
Yeah,
too
necessarily.
if
late
you
for me
don't let
then.
them go to the bathroom, they will piss on the floor. So,
Depending on
What are
what
they fucking cats?
depending on what
Yes.
sim you get, you might have to micromanage them doing the dishes too, because not all of them will do it on their own. Depends on their
Okay,
personality.
listen. I can get down with Animal Crossing, but like once you break it down to the fucking menial chores.
oh no, Animal Crossing is menial chores. What are you talking about?
No,
It's
I'm
not. It's
talking
nothing
about
but
you,
menial
you,
chores.
you don't do dishes though.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
You don't do
you have to
dishes.
water the flowers
you don't
and pick the
vacuum
weeds and all
you
that
don't
crap.
vacuum the. Yeah, but that shit I don't do anyway.
it's really snappy. You just have to give them the order, and sometimes you don't even have to. It depends on the sim's individual personality. Um, the real
I don't know.
joy of
There's
the
some.
Sims is when you got a bunch of them in the same house and all those personalities are conflicting, though. Or you could trap
Oh
them in a
man.
room with no life necessities and watch them
Say
suffer in solitary confinement until they go
just
crazy.
random straggling sim player just walks in. 6 other people are staring at him. The conversation starts. Did you vote today? And
Oh,
then just leave the rest alone.
oh no.
Now we will watch it burn.
What if not?
I mean, you can set the house on fire yourself, right? Isn't that the entire point of a firebox?
I mean, yeah, but that's also being a bad person.
They're not real.
Is it?
Okay, so I've gone over this before on BrainScratch. I'm absolutely 100% sure. But there's always the possibility that the universe that we live in is just a very complicated universe
Simulation,
of the
yeah.
basically some super complicated high-tech aliens version of the Sims.
Isn't there's like Matrix theory?
Yeah,
Kinda.
pretty much. Like there's always that possibility. And basically the theory goes is that if we ever get a version of the Sims that's exactly like real life, then chances are we're a version of
Also
the
a
Sims.
simulation.
But basically the other point is that we also shouldn't be creating, just in case those Sims actually do have cognitions, we shouldn't be like lighting them on fire for our own sport, because then otherwise we're just like the Greek gods, aka assholes.
I mean,
Yeah, but-
I
yeah,
think
but
that's
pay for
pretty
it, though.
obvious we are assholes at this point, but
Trust me, the Sims from The Sims 3 don't have complex code enough to have cognition.
And my argument is I paid for it. I do what the hell I want with it.
Ah,
Burn.
The Sims is fun. It's just, not a game that I can play every day.
No, not even something recreational. I couldn't get into it.
You might be able to get into the vampire mode. It gets a bit crazy in the DLC.
I believe it.
I do have a lot of admiration for The Sims, though, just as a game design thing.
Oh yeah, no, not every. There should be more games. When I say more games like The Sims, I don't mean more life sims, but more
More games with that kind of
non-violent.
more games with
just
that
do
kind of
whatever the
creative
hell.
attitude, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
because,
non-violent is one thing, but also just the mentality that went into creating it is
Yeah,
something that I
'cause-
admire.
This is Sim City, not The Sims, but Will Wright created the original Sim City because he was making a helicopter like shoot 'em up game at the time, and he had more fun making the levels in the helicopter game than he did actually blowing stuff up with the helicopter. So he was like, I'm going to make this the game, and then nobody would buy it because it wasn't what traditionally
People
a video
wanted.
game was like at that point. So, you
yeah,
know.
it was a bit weird.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but then if you talk to anybody right now and ask, do you think that SimCity would be considered a dumb idea back in the day? Actually, modern gamers probably would still say yes, because the most modern recognition of SimCity right now is SimCity 5, aka a giant pile of poo-poo. So,
Or,
yeah.
if they know anything, probably Skylines.
Oh yeah, City Skylines is SimCity, but good, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can still get the good SimCities pretty easy, so even if the new one is a pile of crap, you can always have the SimCity experience.
I'm sure there's likely other titles in the market that are
Similar.
flowing with those sort of creative juices. It's just that, there's a surplus of games nowadays.
It's hard to get it out
It's a lot
there,
to
yeah.
sift to get. Well, it's hard to get out there, and finding it is one thing, and also like
It's a very niche kind of game.
yeah.
Where
I wouldn't consider SimCity niche, because that game sold several million copies.
I'm talking relatively speaking today.
Yeah.
You're better off making that kind of game for something like a mobile,
Yeah, I mean, like,
where the more very laid back crowd will
Yeah,
fiddle with
like
that more.
the mobile market, like tablet market, that game is built for that.
I mean, you guys say that, but Animal Crossing is also
well,
the biggest
Well,
release.
that's Nintendo though, and Nintendo tried that with Pocket Camp.
I don't know.
and they
Yeah.
screwed it up in a lot of regards.
I don't know
yeah.
what kind of touchscreen you've been playing with, but my fingers are way too fat to be playing SimCity on
No,
a
that's why I say
tablet.
tablets. That's no, that's what I'm saying. Tablets, like iPads and some other things.
All
not-
right,
not like
so
phones, but
you got to be
iPads.
touching everything with your skinny little pinky finger, though.
That's the important of tablets, yeah. I don't even want to use a touchscreen
Or
pad.
maybe
You
you're
can do that
maybe
too.
you're using one of those older tablets that actually could do the whole stylus thing. That would work.
Yeah. What styluses don't work now?
Ugh,
Not unless
depends
if
on-
you get one of those special touchscreen, capacitive touchscreen styluses.
Yeah, different kinds of touch screens work better or worse
Yeah.
with that kind of thing.
Well, still, it still stands, and there are options at the very least. Whether or not it's as accessible as it used to be, I think, is irrelevant.
My
There's
big
an
issue
option,
with
though.
trying to use your finger for any kind of quote-unquote hardcore gaming is that it
you're-
covers more of the screen.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
if you want to play Elite Beat Agents in hard mode, don't use the stylus.
No.
You can barely see what's going on in that game anyway when you're using the stylus. So, trying to do it without it is just miserable. Also,
Legit, that's why I stopped playing the game.
wait, really?
Yeah, because I love the game. Like, I really do love Elite Beat Agents, and I was trying to clear all the songs on higher difficulties just so I could, but I don't know. I don't have the most precise control with my strength when it comes to poking and sliding and shit, and I didn't want to scratch my screen up.
That's why you play
And
it
yet
on
you
an
played
emulator.
Pokemon Platinum.
Yeah. Oh, with Poffins?
Yeah.
Baker Poffins.
Bold of you to assume that I gave a shit about Poffins.
Did you ever play Pokemon Dash?
No.
First off, don't. Second off, that game will also ruin your touchscreen. It's a It's a Pokemon racing game. Guess how you move your Pikachu?
Scribbling?
Scribbling on the dial.
Yeah, you have to
screen.
drag Pikachu in the direction you want to go.
Isn't
and
that
then
effective?
lift-
Isn't that effectively what the initial Sonic 3DS game was going to be?
Yes.
And I'm glad they
Yes.
didn't make it.
I mean, you still see you see nibbles of that in like Sonic Chronicles, of like how you direct where Sonic's going with the touchscreen. I guess maybe that's what they were trying to.
Well, no, it's not even like you point and then drag. Like it's
You
not.
literally
Like,
just furiously scribble on the.
well, like it's not like say the touchscreen controls in Super Mario 64 DS where you hold it in the middle and then drag in the direction like you're pretending to use a
That
control stick. You
What-
have to start at the bottom and then drag to the forward and then lift your hand, go back to the bottom and then drag forward over and over again. Like you're continuously drawing lines on a piece of paper in order to. Okay, yeah, that thing is pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's say Los so desperately trying to get back to the game.
no, take me away from it.
No,
It's a demon
what?
baby.
It's a demon baby. I thought it was like Thomas the Tank
That's
Engine
like-
if it was constipated.
That's
Oh,
like
God.
some like twisted Alice in Wonderland shit.
Parents, look at my baby. Isn't he so cute? The baby.
No.
That face.
Basically, yes.
Except for you, viewer, if you manage to have offspring. I'm sure your baby is just lovely.
Lovely day for an exorcism, wouldn't you say?
Almost
Well, we fed it his thing, so yes.
almost never not looking all squinty and squinchy when you try to take a picture of him, though.
It's the wrinkled forehead that does it for me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's like one of those Jiffy Pops if it grew a face.
Huh.
Huh.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, I guess. What? 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 I'm like, what's a what? What pop?
Jiffy
Pops.
Pop.
Or like the peanut butter?
No, that's Jif.
Oh.
You never? I'm assuming you never heard of Jiffy Pop.
No.
No, you likely seen it, but you don't know the brand.
Or it might just go by a
it's-
different name in his
It's
area.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The popcorn maker that you put on top of a stovetop and you
And it
shake
has
it,
yeah,
and
it
it
has a-
expands.
Yeah, it has a little like foil thing on top that it inflates as it goes along.
I never
Yeah.
had one of those popcorn makers. I only ever
Don't.
had.
It
They're
burns.
terrible. Don't
They're
ever do-
terrible and they burn really
I've
easily.
never seen or heard of those before in my life. Probably.
Well, back in my day, that's how we avoided making popcorn anyway because they were terrible because they burn really easily.
Dude,
Yep.
we're like almost exactly the same age. Your day was my day. So
Hold on.
I just don't.
Hold on.
I just think
I
we
can
don't.
Go. I can
Quite,
go with the.
quite
the
a question though
strictest-
about that though. If they tell, why do we have popcorn buns on microwaves if they tell us not to use them?
I remember asking this question before. I'm not sure if it was in this commentary or on Twitter. But I don't know why there's a popcorn button if every single fucking brand that I buy tells me not to use it.
I've pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but if you want the best popcorn,
I remember this. You said like a minute and something.
yeah, a minute and 9 seconds left on the timer, but it's when you set the timer for 4. You can't set it for 3 and take it out with 9 seconds left. It won't work.
I don't get that.
I did.
I guess it's-
Listen, I don't ask why. All right, I just know that it's the perfect amount of popcorn, so you get as many pieces actually.
Yeah, but don't you want to harness that knowledge
No.
and refine it?
Listen,
so
I
that you
I know
don't need
not
to
to
rely
take a
on
gift.
RNG.
Look, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. All right, if life gives me an RNG drop, I just take it and be happy. All right.
Huh.
Wouldn't you rather that life gave you the pink puff drop and you not have to go into the code of Final Fantasy IV and figure out why?
If it makes it more guaranteed.
Or you could just, get good.
Running in circles?
Yeah. Getting good at RNG is basically just developing patience, which is an important life strategy.
It's not a bad way of looking at it.
Or you could just, stick a tracker in the
Not-
USB stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only one who gets that.
No.
It's just Sherlock reference.
Do they like Jiffy Pop?
There's this sequence in like one of the worst episodes, and that
Oh, the Sherlocked, yeah.
yeah,
Is that the one?
where what's her name, Mary, is like fleeing across the world from hiding place to hiding place, and then she just turns up at her hideout, and Sherlock is there, and she's like, I chose everything at random, I rolled dice for it, or something. And
It's like, no, you didn't.
Sherlock goes on this spiel about how there are so many ways to predict the outcome of random variables, but then he just said they're all really hard, so I put a tracker in the USB stick.
Okay.
God, I hate that show.
Sherlock was good for like a season or two.
It was.
Then it decided to stop being good.
It did a good job of pretending it wasn't terrible for a little while. It had a bit of structure. But mostly, I think just the acting carried it, because I really do.
Oh yeah, almost certainly.
I really do
yes.
like the actors in that show. I wish they were in a better show.
I mean, they are in better things. Like
I wish they were playing.
The Hobbit.
I wish they were playing those characters in a better show. So thinking about it, The Hobbit, yeah, he basically is John Watson in that, and it's perfect. Um,
The scene with Smaug and Bilbo is like the only good scene in the second Hobbit movie. So
Basically.
yeah, because God, somebody needs to smack Peter Jackson upside the head for.
That's not entirely his fault. He wasn't initially going to do it, and then I think Guillermo backed
there
out.
were a lot.
Yeah, oh, I remember that.
There
yeah.
were a
And then
lot of.
and then Warner basically panic hired Peter back, and he's like, "Sure, if you pay me enough," and then he just kind of half-assed it as you would in that situation.
There were a lot of problems that went on in the creation of those movies. It got pretty complicated. I actually am really curious to see what a Del Toro directed version of The Hobbit would have looked like.
I think most of us would have.
Hopefully, it would have been good.
I still
I
have
don't-
not watched
Hopefully,
any of
it
them,
would have been one movie. Actually, that's what I.
which is so weird. It's like I really enjoyed the first three movies, but I have not touched Hobbit yet.
Well,
The first one's all right, and then it's
Well,
just kind of like, eh.
let me put it this way. If you were to, like, cut out all of the fluff, you could make The Hobbit into a really good two-movie version of the book's events. In fact, there's probably someone who's made that cut online somewhere. So yeah.
Most likely. You could probably just look up like actual cut on YouTube after you're done. After now that we're done watching this video, yay! See you next part.
Well,
Pay us.
yeah, we're done. Bye.